Over 50 bills, what pattern emerges? The Ned Nwoko template. Over the past several episodes, we have examined a remarkable legislative portfolio, state creation, universities, hospitals, diaspora voting, human capital development, economic reforms, constitutional amendments, public safety, and institutional strengthening. But today, we step back from the individual bills and ask a bigger question. What does a quintessential lawmaker really look like? Because at the end of the day, legislation is not just about the number of bills a person sponsors. It is about what those bills reveal. About priorities, about values, about vision, and perhaps most importantly, about the person behind them. When we examine the legislative record of Senator Ned Nwoko, certain patterns begin to emerge. The first is the focus on institution. Again and again, the proposals point toward structures designed to outlive politics, schools, universities, hospitals, specialized agencies. The second is representation. From Anoma State to diaspora voting, many of the proposals revolve around one idea: giving people a voice, giving communities a place within the national conversation. Then the third is human capital, the belief that a nation's greatest resource is not oil, not land, not infrastructure, but people. And perhaps that should not surprise us, because long before he became a senator, Ned Nwoko's story was already shaped by education, law, business, and public services. From studying law and history in the United Kingdom, earning advanced legal qualifications, and building one of the largest black-owned law firms in Britain at the time, his career was never confined to a single profession. He was a lawyer, an entrepreneur, a businessman, a philanthropist, a legislator, and those experiences appear to have influenced the breadth of issues reflected in his legislative agenda today. Some lawmakers focus on one sector, some focus on one constituency, some focus on one issue. But the pattern that emerges from Senator Ned Nwoko's legislative portfolio is broader: education, healthcare, economic reform, security, constitutional development, diaspora engagement, human capital, institution building. Whether one agrees with every proposal or not, there is an unmistakable willingness to engage national issues from multiple directions. And perhaps that is where the idea of a quintessential lawmaker comes into focus. A quintessential lawmaker is not measured merely by speeches delivered or motions moved or political popularity. A quintessential lawmaker identifies problems, raises questions, stimulates debate, proposes solutions, and places ideas before the nation for consideration. Not every bill becomes law, not every proposal succeeds, but the responsibility of a lawmaker is to keep pushing ideas into that national conversation. And after examining more than 50 bills and legislative proposals associated with Senator Ned Nwoko, one conclusion becomes difficult to ignore. The pattern is not random. It reflects a legislator who appears committed to institutions, representation, human capital, and long-term development. And whether history ultimately judges those efforts as successful will be decided by time. But the legislative footprint is already visible. And perhaps that is the biggest lesson from this series. Because when the debates end, when the headlines fade, and when the politics move on, the enduring question is always the same: what did you try to build? For Senator Ned Nwoko, that answer may well be found in the ideas he has placed before the nation. My name is Osigwe Omoikiroda, and I am the principal and CEO of Bush Radio Akede.